Hello and welcome back to Vocabulary Ninja, myself Andrew. This short video today I'm looking to, today, believe it or not, is the publication day of Times Tables Like a Ninja. So I'm just doing a short video just to give everybody a bit of an overview of the book. Obviously you can't miss it, it's in bright pink. It is a fab Pantone colour. And obviously, as I said, it's published today. If you're watching this video in the future, it's already published. But I thought normally what we do is put a few posts out and people don't really get the inside of the book, understand what it's all about. So using a little bit more technology, I'm going to show you what's inside the book, and basically so you can better understand how you can use the book in school or at home, as a teacher, as a parent, and how you can support your children and pupils using Times Tables Like a Ninja. Okay, so that's what this video is. I'm going to dive quickly into a different screen, getting a bit technical. Here we go. So there's me in the bottom corner, and I'm just going to give you a bit of an overview as to what is in the book. So we've got Times Table Like a Ninja, written by myself and published by Bloomsbury. So as I said, it is available on Amazon, from Bloomsbury's website, and from my own website, www.vocabularyninja.co.uk. Lots of other places as well. But anyway, this is what the book basically is a reference tool for parents, for pupils to work through and to look at all the different ways that times tables can be represented, as well as division facts, and basically giving you a comprehensive overview of every times table so that there's nothing really missing in preparation for children taking the multiplication check in year 4, but also topping up that knowledge in year 5, 6, 7 and 8 if pupils need it. So as you can see, we're going to scroll through. Initially in the book we've got some key vocabulary linked to times tables, and then basically we work naturally through the times tables, repeating a format for every times table. And as you can see later on, we've got some key facts and key bits of information that are going to make times tables even more relevant and to support you at home and in school as well. So again, we've got a bit of a standard format. Each times table starts off with appropriate vocabulary. So as you can see here, we've got vocabulary associated with multiplication and division, all the terms that you would expect to see, and the different parts of multiplication down here at the bottom, where we've got 5 times 3 equals 15. So we've got the two factors, the operator and the product. And again, it's just replicating everything that would go on in school in terms of the correct vocabulary that you would expect to see. Now you can notice here on the right hand side we've got these sort of 90s Filofax style tabs, which basically just help children, adults, whoever it may be, move through the times tables effectively. Okay, so again, moving through, we've got the times table on the right, clearly displayed here, very simply, up to 12 times table, and lots and lots of information. As you can see, we've got things like ninja tips as we go through. So this one, for example, again, these sort of classic tips that teachers would add into most lessons that are going to help children out when it comes to lots and lots of things, but importantly SATs. You know, so if a number is multiplied by a 0, then the answer or the product will always be 0. So it's important to remember, very obviously. And again, just trying to make it a little bit lighthearted. We've got some jokes in there as well, but all these things are designed to help children remember their multiplication facts. Again, then in each table, I won't go through this for every table as this format is repeated. So the first page in each table, we have some appropriate vocabulary and the table itself. Then we have different representations. So we're going to look at arrays so we can see the times table visually. Okay, so there's that visual representation. And then that's also repeated with division. Okay, so we've got over here, 7 times 2 is 14. And then we've got 14 divided by 2 is 7, and you can also discuss with your child or children that that is reversible as well, in that 14 divided by 7 is also 2. Again, classically, if we move on, most times tables have some sort of trick. Now, I'm not necessarily advocating for that, but in the real world, lots of children learn their times tables by little memory tricks, whether it's via doubling, the finger tricks when it comes to different times tables as well. So there's lots and lots of ways to learn times tables. So really that's what the book is all about. Some of the tricks aren't particularly helpful, in that, I don't mean in this book, but I mean some tricks that children are taught, for me, don't help them. It just sort of gets in the way. But we've included a few things as it does help children. Most often, we like to talk about counting out loud, but we've got a few where I've made up a few little songs and poems, as well as the classic tricks as well. But again, it's quite fun for children, and it makes times tables just that little bit more engaging. And again, moving on, we've got multiplication and division facts all the way up to 20, so we can push children beyond that. I know lots of children like to count the times tables out and go as high as they can, so that's a great reference tool. And importantly, linking back to division as well. So it's not just about multiplication. The associated division facts are also extremely important for pupils. We've then, with all the tables, we move on to this concept of if you know. So, for example, if a pupil, classic as a year 6 teacher, I'll be, even with my children, I'm always prompting, well, if you know this, you should be able to work out that. So with our 2 times table, if we know that 2 times 7, for example, as you can see here, if 2 times 7 is 14, then we know with enough practice that 2 times 70 would be 140, because 7 to 70 is 10 times bigger. So our answer is going to be 10 times bigger in terms of 140. The same as if we did 20 times 7, it's still 2 times 7 is 14, 20 times 7 is 140. And that can be repeated. And if we're constantly referencing that with our children, up the tables, if we said, well, 9 times 7 is 63, so what's 9 times 70? Well, that's 630, just 10 times bigger. Okay, so if you know, it's a great thing to reinforce as children move through their times tables. And again, the number squares are there for every page. Now, this is great in lessons and at home. If you've got homework, maybe some multiplication homework about the 2 times table, we've got the 2 times tables here on a number square, which can be sat handily. We can open the book, use that as a bit of a reference point, and that's going to help with homework. It's going to help in the classroom. The same with our division, our division facts here, etc. That page could be opened if we're working on that page. And again, if we're teaching arrays or we've got homework associated with arrays, we can have this page open. We don't need to make another resource. That's really going to help teachers and parents and pupils ultimately. And the more of the different representations they see, the more likely they are to remember them. Okay, and then we end with a little bit of a quick fire quiz where we're working through different representations of multiplication and division facts. And again, this bottom part here is linked to the if you know. Again, so I'd be prompting out with my child, well, if you know what 2 times 4 is, then we should be able to work out what 2 times 40 is. And again, these are very limited because we've only got so much space. You could take this on very easily at home or in the classroom and expand these type of questions to really support children's knowledge. And again, that process, this whole process is then repeated with each of the following times tables. Okay, so again, back into our if you know for the 3 times tables, the number squares and so on. So the book is absolutely jam-packed with information, as you can see here. So as we scroll through, we're going to get to the end, and I'll just give you a bit of an overview of what's at the back end of the book, which is some of the gold dust, really. So the first part that we're going to encounter in our tips and tricks is the Super 16. Okay. Now, the Super 16 is something that I've sort of made up, and really what this is all about are this. Children often, as we work through a times table, 2, 3, 10s, whatever it is, they're very comfortable with 1 times 6, 2 times 6, 3 times 6, 4 times 6, 5. They're very comfortable up to about 5 times. Normally when children get to 6 times, 7 times, 8 times and 9 times, that's when we tend to struggle. And again, with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times table, the 10 times table, very, very easy because they're very familiar with them. But when we're talking about the 6 times table, the 7s and the 8s, so we're getting the 6 times 7, 6 times 8, 6 times 9, 7 times 8, those kinds of questions, those are basically the ones that kids struggle with. All the other ones, everyone just seems to know anywhere, but through their journey of primary school. So if we really focus on these 16 multiplication facts, we're going to enable children to be very, very successful. So this is about enabling the children to realize which ones are essentially the most difficult ones. And if they can just focus on 16 times tables, then they're basically there. And again, if teachers and parents, if you can prompt your children to learn these, the questions are there, you've got the answers. What's 6 times 12? What's 8 times 6? Just focus on these 16 question types or these times table facts. You're basically going to master the 16 most difficult ones that when it comes to SATs, they're probably going to need to know because they get a question like, what's 8 times 70 or something? Well, if they know 8 times 7 is 56, they know the answer. So again, that's brilliant, right at the back of the book. Don't miss that one. We've got our times table grid, which is going to help us. If you've never seen one of these before, these grids work horizontally and vertically. So if you take the 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10. So we've got every times table fact here, which is great for reference. We've got our square number facts. We've got quick reference tables for that push. So children that want to go beyond times 12, we've got a quick reference table. Again, in class, you could quickly photocopy this. So there's loads of things that you could do with the book. You could have these open. You could have them at home open for homework. We could photocopy them. Children copy them out. You could easily quick quiz them, because as a parent, sometimes the knowledge for yourself may not be there. So your children's maybe flying with their times tables and you want to push them on the 14 times table. Here we've got a quick reference point. That could be, I don't know what it is off the top of my head. 14 times 7. Your kid might be a whiz. The answer is 98. We don't want to spend forever on a calculator. It's just quick reference tools that are at home. You could quickly just pull the book out. That's there. And we're just sat here while we're maybe waiting for tea just to get served. So what's 16 times 3? 48. What's 17 times 2? It's 28. So again, we can really push our children. And again, it doesn't have to be that complicated. As a parent, we might just drop back into 3 times table for our children. And I've just got my 3 times table, division and multiplication facts. So it might be, what's 8 times 3? And I've got the answer there. So as a parent and a teacher or a teaching assistant, this really just takes the knowledge factor, which sometimes is the thing that lets us down, out of it. So again, so useful in terms of time saving and reference. And again, just at the end, just some ideas to support learning at home. So that daily chanting, making posters, we know children will love doing that. And again, they can use the book to help them make the poster. So again, at home, I remember doing these sort of things myself. If you gave a 6 times table to 8, children would love, a bit of A4 paper, a couple of felt tips, and the kids are away creating their own times table booklet. But again, they don't need you to pass on that knowledge because the knowledge is in the book. And it's the sort of thing that children love. And again, family quizzes and tricky facts. And all the answers are in the back for the quiz. So essentially, that's it. There's so much information in this book. It is, I've written it, so I'm proud of it. But there's so much information in there that actually when we get into the nitty gritty, there's nothing really to do with times tables that is omitted from this book. It has everything in it, has a huge amount of representations, it includes division facts, and it even knuckles down into how to help at home, the Super 16 fact, square number fact. We've got multiplication grids, we've got arrays, we've got all the chants that you need to know. So that's it basically. It's not meant to be a salesy video. It's meant to be a video that basically shows you what is in the book, what it contains. And obviously we've had a lovely endorsement from Deputy Grocott from Edgy Twitter. I love how friendly these books are, perfect for boosting children's confidence. And obviously this is one of in the series of many in the series. We've got times table like a ninja, write like a ninja, sats like a ninja, spell like a ninja, read like a ninja, spell like a ninja, and I think I said maths like a ninja. So I think there's 6 in the series now, which are all available to support children's learning. So that's times tables like a ninja. As I've said, or maybe not said, in the description of these videos, wherever you watch them, I'll drop some links of where you can get these books from Bloomsbury, from myself on my website, and Amazon, where lots of people like to buy them from. But if you have any questions, drop me an email. Hit me up in the comments if you do have any questions about the books. On my website, there are class sets available. So if a school buys 30 of these or more, then you get a 20% discount. So instead of the book being $4.99 a copy, it's $3.99 a copy, which again saves, for every 30 books, you're basically serving £1 a book to a certain extent, give or take a penny. So it is good value, and they are super useful. I know lots of schools buy them in huge amounts, and it's definitely going to support children at home, in school, in preparation for, as I said, the times table multiplication check, but also beyond that. Okay, so even now my kids moving into secondary, especially when it drops off a little bit, reference tools like this are always going to help them. So that's times tables like a ninja. Hope you enjoyed seeing what's inside, and I'd love to know if you've got a copy, what you think of it. But anyway, that's this video done. Get yourselves a copy, and I'm going to be putting on a lot more videos like this about the different books. I've now got, I think, 44 books, so there's at least another 43 videos to come. Just giving overviews of the book, what it contains, and if you've got any questions, put them in the comments. I'll answer them. Happy to put screen grabs in, and I think on the website there is a sample as well. Not that you need it because of this. So thanks very much for watching. Please like the videos, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.